After I finally started making unboxing videos, I realized that I'm actually able to buy new figures faster than I'm able to record and edit videos. I didn't need a backlog or a stockpile of figures ready to unbox like I thought I would. So today, I'm gonna make a big dent in my stockpile and unbox all of the Play Arts figures from the original Final Fantasy VII, plus a couple of bonuses. Since I technically have like 11 figures to unbox, I think I'm just gonna blast through these. Oh, that's cool. That's a Cloud background. That's quite fitting. This one has been previously used, as you can see, with the dirty tape and all the dust. As much as I like the aesthetic of the remake, where everything seems more new, like relatively new, especially the Buster Sword, you can see has a few scratches on it, but it's essentially like been used once. This looks like it's been rusted through, someone has repaired it, and it has actually gone through a few owners and has been left outside and stuff like that. That's sort of the aesthetic that I miss in the remake that is abundant in the original. Ooh, that feels nice. Although it doesn't make sense for the exhaust to have bandages, especially considering the fact that this is a new model that's being displayed in the Shinra building. This is part of the aesthetic that I like from the OG that's missing from remake. And also this random pipe that's an exhaust that points forward makes no sense. I'm a big fan of this, and I think I actually like this more than the remake Hardy Daytona. And I'm gonna be displaying this right next to the remake Play Arts Kai Hardy Daytona, and you'll see that at the end, so stick around for that if you want to see how I'm going to display all these at the end. I think that's going to be the most satisfying part when I put all of these in my pretty big collection. We'll just skip right to the next one. This is technically not a Play Arts, it's a Play Arts Kai, which surprised me because I think this scale is about the same as that one, and this is not as big as the Play Arts Kais that we have today. It's not as faithful as this one is to the original, but I actually quite like it. It's very thick, it's very solid, it's kind of heavy, frighteningly heavy considering the fact that this guy can't actually have it on his back, so he has to hold it in his hand. Isn't that gonna just bend the joints over time? Isn't it just gonna drag on the ground? This hair is actually translucent, which I normally don't mind. That's quite common now actually with the new Play Arts Kais, but there's something up when you can actually see where the forehead ends through his hair. In one way that's realistic, but in another way it's actually not, because hair isn't actually translucent, it is opaque. And here we can actually kind of see the evolution of Cloud's design. This is very much faithful to the original. His pants are diamond shaped, which means they are the baggiest around his knees, and they're skinny closer to the shoes. And his belt has metal details on it, and his shoulder armor is no other color than just metallic. This is a step towards the remake. This is not completely remake, and it's even a step further than the remake in one particular way. The pants are no longer the diamond shape where they're the thickest around the knees. They are now the thinnest around the knees, which is a strange choice to make if you ask me. The belt no longer has metal details on it, but it does have this gray thinner belt around, which is like, this is the midpoint between this and remake. This has now gotten a bit of a blue, or maybe here it's more like turquoise type of color, but strangely, this one has 4 bolts on it, which is something that Cloud had for a short period of time. I forget when it was, but he has that in Dissidia, he has that in Smash, and I think that was around the same time. So this is just how Cloud looked for that time. It's actually also interesting considering the fact that this is sort of a turquoise color, which is kind of green. Look at this. The lines on that are also green, just like they are in the Smash amiibo figure. So that's pretty interesting. This was supposed to be a quick video, guys. I don't know what the hell happened. And just like I thought, he can't hold his sword up. And now, Tifa. Maybe we can start to speed things up. Let's see. This one was also bought used. Is that supposed to happen? This is my first experience with the Play Arts as well, by the way, so it's not making a good first impression. You can't really move the head, and there's a big gap there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop complaining about the Play Arts Kais, considering that this is its ancestor. And what's the scale? She's like a full head shorter than Cloud. And Vincent. Okay, this has fascinated me since I got it a few years ago. This box is super beat up. Look at all this damage all over it, but it has never been opened. So the figure is supposedly in perfect condition. But something that's fascinating about this, I'm gonna do something silly now. I'm gonna purposefully make a mark just to show how easy it is. Nothing here, you can see that? I don't really have too much of a fingernail. I'm just gonna do this. Look at that! Look how easily, oh my goodness. All these marks all over this is just people passing it along and just handling it in general. And this is the damage that it's gotten. This is the kind of stuff that's so fascinating about the original. Like his main weapon is just a gun, which makes sense because he was just a Turk. Reno's weapon is just like a standard like police baton. It would make sense that Vincent's weapon was just a standard issue type of gun. So I actually prefer this, believe it or not, over the Cerberus gun that he has in Dirge. This one is pretty stiff as well. You can't really do anything with his head. Why even have articulation in the head when he actually can't move it? It is interesting to think that this guy was considered for Kingdom Hearts. And he looks like he's actually quite a bit taller than Cloud, which is kind of what you'd expect. Aerith. And now we're just about halfway. 4 materia on this one. That's the first time I've seen that. All the others only have materia on one side. So that's pretty cool. That's unique. Oh, wow. This is actually very soft. Feels real nice. But she has... But something that I'm noticing is that if I do this a bit and I squeeze here, see that? It goes in. So she's basically like in Remake where she doesn't really have hips. It is kind of sketchy that this opening goes all the way up and actually past the last button there. I don't know if that's on purpose or yeah, I can actually see a seam line. I thought like maybe the previous owner had made a little cut, but no. But I actually quite like this one. This looks pretty good. I wish Aerith looked more like this in Remake actually. These colors are wrong, by the way. These are supposed to be like a brass color. This was supposed to be a quick video. What the fuck? And Sephiroth. Uh-oh. The sword is actually the entire length of the box. In the Remake Player's Guide, the box was actually wider than normal, and they had the sword across like that. That's also why this box is different. No other box folds over like that, and I think that's simply to protect the sword and to keep it from sliding out and breaking. That's pretty insane. Can you hold that? Oh, wow. That's pretty nice. He's actually quite shiny. I don't think any of my Sephiroths are this shiny. He is surprisingly loose in the torso. I keep saying it, but this is probably why I prefer the static arts, because like the worst thing that can happen to them is that they're slightly bent or there's a misprint or something. You can't really do much with the misprints, and that's a big problem obviously, but if they're just bent, you can just bend them back with some hot water or something. But when a figure is loose, I'm sure there's something you can do, but I don't know what that is. His hair, it's a shame that that's all hidden in the back because this is pretty nice. And this is the perfect mix of translucent and more opaque. And I think that's very similar to what they have now with the new Player's Kais as well. Thank you. And Yuffie. Oh wow, yeah, she's super light. She's obviously a very skinny and small character, like compared to Sephiroth. Like her forehead barely reaches his nipples. I don't know why she would, but that's pretty nice. What's up with her eyes? Yuffie doesn't have green eyes. Has she ever had green eyes in anything? I think maybe in the original when you see her picture in the menu, they look kinda grayish, but they're definitely like a type of brown. So this is weird. Okay. And this is the one that I think I'm the most excited for because it's not too often that you get a Red 13 figure, and it's especially not often that you get a Cait Sith figure, even though this is more like a Cait Sith bust, because if you ask me, the Moogle is kind of an important part of the character. To sort of put things into perspective, out of all the figures that I have in my collection, which is more than 220 now, it's quite a lot, it's actually getting close to 230. This is my 4th ever Cait Sith figure. And these two put the number of Cloud figures at 44. 444. So that sort of tells you how rare this is. But he is pretty cool. Like, this is the most detailed figure I have of Cait Sith. I'm really happy that they didn't just make Cait Sith like an accessory to Red 13 in Rebirth. I was really worried that he was just gonna ride him, because then we would both have lost Cait Sith as he was in the original and Red 13 as he was in the original by having Cait Sith ride him. Even though most people don't like Cait Sith, I personally, aesthetically, find him so interesting, and he's such like a juxtaposition to the rest of the characters, and considering the fact that who he really is and what his body is and how that's used in the plot and how it's actually important to the plot, I think that is so interesting. And I don't really like playing as him in the original because of the chance stuff with his limit breaks. If you get the wrong limit break by accident, you can actually get a game over screen. So those are the reasons why I don't really play as him in the original, but he does look pretty cool, and I'm super happy that we do actually get to play as him with the Moogle, which is actually one of my biggest worries when it came to Rebirth. I think this is actually my first ever articulated Red 13 figure, and unfortunately he can barely turn his head, which I view as kind of a big negative considering the fact that I'll probably have to display him like that to make him fit on the shelf. I'm not really sure if this is accurate because I don't think that he has the 13 on both sides, actually. And now for the final treat, let's say it doesn't really fit in with this, but it's gonna be a nice comparison to open the Playart Sky from the remake of Red 13. And this is just so much freaking bigger. Like, even the box weighs like almost twice as much as the previous box. So let's just get him the hell out of there. Look at that flame, oh my goodness. I think this might be the first Playart Sky figure that I've gotten that doesn't come with a base, which makes sense, but it's an interesting thought. Ooh, that's quite the strong smell. It's not a bad smell, but it definitely smells like, you know, fresh plastic. He's a lot more loose, which I view as a negative considering how heavy he is. We'll see if this will be able to hold him up. Like, immediately he sort of buckles. Like, he's well made for posing, but he's not well made to be able to hold his own weight. The tail, oh, it is poseable, or am I just destroying it? That surprised me that you can actually pose the tail, but let's see, does this one get the tattoo right? Yeah, no tattoo on that side, tattoo on that side, so that's correct. That's pretty cool. That's actually these are actually loose earrings that you can move around. That's pretty funny. Does he have a red materia? What the he can't summon in remake? What the hell? What? Is it supposed to be purple? Oh yeah, and you can actually remove his teeth. But see, like, he can show his teeth, or you can open it and then you can push the teeth up, and then he's not showing his upper teeth. So now he looks more happy, and let's see if I can get them out. And now he looks more angry, see? So that's pretty cool. It's a bit finagly, but you'll figure it out. And now we can compare these two. I think the first thing you notice is the color difference. I don't know how I feel about these huge gaps back here. Okay, fixed. That was easy. And this is one of the things that I love about collecting, because now that I'm sitting here with two completely different versions of the same character, I get to sort of appreciate the details, because I don't know if I've ever thought too much about the fact that he has red lines underneath his eye. If you were to draw him from memory, would you have drawn those, you know? Because it's kind of weird to have red lines on a red character. I need to check how many of my figures actually has that, because I've not really thought about that before. So now I think it's time to put all these figures in my collection. All right, let's just get to it. Cloud figure number 43, there you go. And Cloud figure number 44. And number 45 literally just came in the mail, and he's gonna be standing right here. So, you know, stick around for that. And Cait Sith number 4, technically, or 3.5. First one without the Moogle. And then Vincent number 14. This is becoming a recurring problem with my Vincent figures and statues. The cape is so rigid that you actually can't do anything with it, so he takes up a lot more space than you'd think. And now to make him fit into the square that I had planned for months, I had to put him on this platform so that the cape would go over the shelf next to it. There you go. And Sephiroth number 30, an actual milestone. That's pretty nice. And Yuffie figure number 11, something like that. With Red 13, I had to kind of rethink the entire section. But anyhow, that's Red 13 figure number 10 and 11. And here's Aerith number 19, something like that. And Tifa number 23. There you go, something like that. And here's Hardy Daytona number 2, even though it could technically be called number 4, but it's in the mechanical section, and there it's number 5, obviously. I forgot to mention it, but I do have all the alternate weapons. However, I've chosen to keep them in the box, not only because it's the best way to display all of them, but the box perfectly fit within this shelf. So yeah,